What it do, what it do, what it do. Another episode of Totally Yonder Attack. Another episode of Totally Yonder Talk. Episode 10 coming at y'all. And y'all know y'all like those conspiracy theory and TikTok videos. So we finna jump right into it right now.
There's a CIA document that came out. It's called the Adam and Eve story. It basically explains how the world is going to end. Has it been true? Well, it makes sense. They say the world is going to end because the poles, North and South Pole, they shift every 12,000 to 15,000 years. And once they shift, it causes a giant apocalypse, big earthquakes, giant tsunamis. Once the apocalypse happens, we go right back to the Stone Age. So according to this information, the first humans similar to us existed around 10,000 years ago. We were in year 2000. So that means that we're at the year 12,000 right now. And now we see global warming, earthquakes, and so on. What's also mind-blowing is that in the book, it says that we are the 6th civilization that came out of the apocalypse. And that would also explain a lot because the Sahara Desert used to be green and the Antarctica used to have forests. So are we just in a constant loop? That's the exact thing the Bible was talking about, the massive fluid. Also, that's what probably happened to Atlantis. It would make sense for a city in the water if the water wasn't there before. So would you believe me if I told you that...
So this conspiracy actually got me, saying down the rabbit hole. Watch, check this out right here. Go ahead and pause it, but it says the conspiracy is that Balenciaga is using a deceased human as a mannequin in the store in Paris. Not only that, his name is Christopher G, and he disappeared in 2020. He was also a model for Balenciaga. The hair on the hands on the mannequin looks too real. On Christopher's IG, he hasn't posted it since 2020. They said he went live on Instagram, but a lot of people said it wasn't him because it was like a lookalike, and they're convinced that that's him in the store. Watch, check the picture out. I'm gonna show the mannequin first, and then I'm gonna show the other one. So this is the mannequin right here. Watch, check it out.
I heard about this story before.
Go ahead and pause it.
Yeah, I heard about this about
this is like a real picture, and this is the real picture of him right here. Yeah, so let me know what y'all think about this one in the comments below. It's crazy. Catch on the next one. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are listening to this podcast in America, you now live in a country where two things happen. The government, they have confirmed that not only
Here we go.
are unidentified flying objects real and documented,
Yep.
our government has now confirmed that those unidentified flying objects are non-human-made aircrafts.
Wow.
And our government has also admitted to the fact that they have recovered those aircrafts in the past
Yep.
and the pilots.
Everything that they ever tell us is bullshit. And one of them is that food pyramid, that dairy is good for the bones and calcium. Literally, milk actually strips the bone of calcium. Look at the sun because it will make us go blind. Sun gazing actually stimulates your pineal gland and open up your third eye so you can move on different dimensions of densities. Everything they ever have told us is a lie. They tell us that our heart is a pump. Your heart is not a pump. Your heart is a valve. Your lungs is a pump that pumps the blood to the heart. The heart is a valve mechanism that controls the cardio output of blood. Everything they tell us about everything is a lie. They tell you your hair is just hair. No, our hair is non-ether hair. It is actually an extension of your nervous system. It is used to scan the environment, and it brings all of these different melanin neurotransmitters back to your skin to tell you whether to actually engage in the environment or take fight or flight and run away. That's why you get gut feelings. That's why when you see paranormal activities, the hair on your skin stand up. So everything that they ever told us about ourselves is a lie. But it's cool because they don't know who we are.
Careful with your iPhone, as there is a theory that suggests it is a subtle symbol of the Antichrist. Indeed, some argue that the I in the name iPhone refers to the eye, a symbol often associated with surveillance and control. And this is where the theory becomes truly intriguing. The iPhone has the ability to hear and observe nearly everything you say and do constantly. It is constantly listening. And what about Siri? It turns out that if you spell Siri backwards, you get iris. The iris is not only a part of the eye, but also the name of the Greek goddess of messengers, a bridge between humanity and the gods. If you flip over your iPhone and look at the back, you will see the famous Apple logo, an apple with a bite taken out of it. This reminds many of the forbidden fruit from the Garden of Eden. the instrument Satan used to tempt humans and lead them to commit the original sin. Thus, the iPhone, this ever-present device displaying the symbol of original sin, could indeed be a sign of evil incarnate.
I got a conspiracy theory, and I want y'all to please listen along to this. When you become croaked the fuck over, and your body is down there at the morgue, do the Y incision, and they take all the insides out, and they drain your bodily fluid. I assume, just like at the hospital, they would dispose of that and call it like toxic waste. Slap a red stamp on that motherfucker, and people pretend to come in there and get it to take it to an unknown location, right? But what if that unknown location is really a very well-known location? The water. Because do they got like a big ass tank for everybody who passed away bodily fluids? Roll with me, because if they put that into the regular drinking water, whether you're going to get it through the faucet, like the tap, or through the bottled water, is that why they got so many different levels to water, like purified and this percentage for alkaline? Like, what if it's unavoidable?
I think
they put it in all the damn water. Like some aqua cremation type shit. It's a lot of creepy shit that be going on down there at the water plants, you know what I'm saying? I had a family member work over there. And it was just amazing to me to see how many people flush tampons knowing you ain't supposed to flush them, and what they do when they do got to clean that water from the tampons. Because they don't do nothing but clean it and bleach that motherfucker and give it back to you. And then you bathe in it and you drink it and you cook with it. And we just sipping on dead people. I'm not done yet. But if you driving down the road and you in a state that you ain't never been to before, or you in a city that you ain't never been to before, or you in the same city you grew up in, but you ain't never been to this park before, and you just look at something, like you look at a tree and you just have a whole vivid memory of what happened at that tree, but you never in your life been at that fucking tree. What if it's because the person who was really at that damn tree, you ingested their ass? That's how you're seeing the memories. What if that's why certain people can communicate with the deceased? Why they can travel to different realms? Because it's like an overload of people DNA. I mean, really think about it. COVID supposedly took plenty of people off the map, but I know that all them people didn't get cremated, or they didn't donate their body to science. And maybe a few percentage of them did. Or maybe a few percentage of people couldn't afford a funeral, couldn't afford a cremation service, and they had to donate the body to science. But that was a lot of fucking people that got took the fuck out from COVID, you know, from what the news reported. Where did all them people go? Because you got bitches out here like me who be calling cemeteries up. Y'all know how many times I call Graceland Cemetery up over there in the Milwaukee, and I would just be trying to figure out why they always got so many lots open, and why do they never expand? Because the math really not fucking math. Where is all these people at that supposedly died from the COVID? Why is it always room open? And these cemeteries ain't just open, honey. They been open for years. Like, they been open before I was born. You still ain't ran out of room? So at this point, I feel like the water fucked up, the air fucked up, the food is definitely fucked up, and the soil is fucked up. This is improving, but it do make you wonder. And I feel like if this is going on, it's in the ingredients that is another word for dead people. What do y'all think?
There's a dark secret to why we celebrate our birthdays. I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory or if it's true, but it blew my mind. So according to the stories and what I've heard, is you know how we chant, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. Well, chanting that is actually a ritual against us. Oh, these noodles taste like your mom's booty. And you know how I like your mom's booty. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out though. You notice how happy birthday is like a chant. You light the candles, turn off a light, you all get in a circle, you start chanting, and then you blow out the candles. Tell me that's not portraying a ritual experience. Now let me tell you what I heard the ritual does. But first, what month and day were you born? Let me know down below. I want to know what sign you are. Me, I was born August 29th, and I'm a Virgo. Anyways, it is said that when we do that, it's a ritual that's sealing our fate to grow older. And that's why some people believe that people who don't celebrate their birthdays tend to look younger than they actually are. Now look, this is all conspiracy, and it's circling around the internet right now. But it's kind of scary to think about.
Do you remember these books from your childhood, the McGraw-Hill science textbooks? I mean, this company published all sorts of textbooks for elementary through high school kids, and I definitely remember reading some of these in my classes. But did you know that one of the companies that published these books was owned by Ghislaine Maxwell's father? If you don't know Ghislaine, she was Jeffrey Epstein's business partner and she helped run his massive sex trafficking operation. She was the madam in the operation and would recruit girls into his terrible ring. But we're not really here to talk about her, we're here to talk about Robert Maxwell, her father. Now, Robert was an extremely wealthy British businessman. So in 1984, after Robert Maxwell had already acquired a lot of wealth, he purchased a publishing group. This group included publications in newspapers like the Daily Mirror, which is still in existence. I mean, there is a lot to uncover about Robert Maxwell. He was best friends with a lot of British royals. He rubbed elbows with celebrities, with the elite. And like I said before, he was extremely wealthy. He even had a massive private yacht that he nicknamed the Lady Ghislaine after his daughter. Now, with all of these powerful connections, there has to be some sort of controversy, right? Well, for decades, it's been alleged that Robert Maxwell was actually a spy. And people don't really know which intelligence agency he worked for the most, but he has ties to the Russian KGB, the British intelligence service MI6, and the Israeli intelligence service, the Mossad. People have alleged that Robert Maxwell was actually a triple or double agent, meaning that he might have been sharing information between 3 different Secret Service organizations. Obviously, this showed that he didn't really have anybody that he worked for in particular, he just chased the money and the power. It's very strange that his blood daughter Ghislaine would end up being directly involved with one of the biggest sex trafficking rings in world history. Now, you can read a lot about Robert Maxwell's supposed spying. One fact that I found interesting was that 6 former and current heads of Israeli intelligence attended his funeral, but his death was extremely suspicious. So in November of 1991, he went sailing on his private yacht, he disappeared, and just a few days later, his completely nude body was found washed up. According to people that examined Robert's body, there was a graze on his shoulder, but there were no other noticeable injuries. But something strange is that when experts took a look at his body, nobody could conclusively say exactly how he died. And the official statement said that he may have had a heart attack and then drowned as he was urinating nude on the side of his yacht. Years later, though, a lot of different things would come out about Robert, including the fact that he bugged a lot of devices and rooms that his own employees were in because he felt like they were being disloyal and he couldn't trust anybody. His own sons even came out and said that while they didn't know exactly what had happened to him, they knew that he didn't take his own life because he wouldn't do that, and he had talked about how he would never do that. So obviously, this is just unbelievably bizarre how this all ties into Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, that whole saga. And I feel like it's something that a lot of people don't talk about, and the government really hasn't looked into. And back to the beginning, I can't ever really look at one of these books to say them again.
I'm not really a big conspiracy person, but I am, so it's kind of half and half, because there is a bunch of stuff you kind of be wondering, like, especially like up there in Flint, Michigan, having the water dirty, how this weather be changing, do they really got HARP systems and things like that. But I appreciate y'all, man, I know this is a little different from the last one, we laughing and stuff, but you gotta bring, switch it up every now and then, things like that. But like always, man, we appreciate y'all checking out this episode of Totally Young to Talk. Like I say, episode 10. We on the grind like always, man. So on that note, stay focused. One love, love thyself, and peace.